Well, two birds, two bats, and of course, crazy people. You might be a senior citizen and you might be thinking about retiring so that you can start to enjoy your golden years, and you want to move abroad for various reasons. In this video, I want to specifically talk about the effects of aging and how that might affect some of the decisions that you make as you head into your retirement years. Okay, that's what's coming up in the video. So, do you have what it takes to pick up and move to a foreign country? I would say some of you sure, and I would say that some of you really need to do a solid inventory and gut check. I've been reading a lot online about aging and elderly people because I am one. And I have noticed a significant decline in not only my physical abilities, but my cognitive abilities also. And it's made me feel, as I hit my 70th birthday a few months ago, it's made me feel a lot more vulnerable, and for good reason. Number one, even if I was to work out every day, eat all the right foods, take all the right supplements that everyone recommends, there's still going to be a decline. If you don't believe me, take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. These guys were buff, and now they're getting older and they're starting to get the dad bods. And these are guys that are physical fitness freaks. So, that being said, if you're just an average schmuck like me, you've never had that opportunity to be in such fitness or in such shape. And when you travel, you're going to be under a tremendous amount of stress. Going through an airport these days is no party. Anyone that's traveled recently can back me up on that. And as we get older, the 30-year-old can handle standing on his feet probably for an hour or two in line. There's a delay, so he's got to go sit down. Older people like myself, we do not have that kind of stamina. It starts to take a real toll on our body. We also need to be very cognizant of our overall physical health. If someone has congenital heart disease or a bad hip, bad knees, super high blood pressure, or like too many Americans, you're just flat out fat or obese, this is going to take a toll on you also. Remember, when you land, when you're 50 years old, maybe even just 60 years old, I was 62, you land in a new country, all this new stuff comes swarming at you out of nowhere. Languages, customs, money exchanges, how to get here, how to go there. And if you're younger, that's all real pretty fun and easy to navigate. But the older and the older and the older I get, I'm finding it's less and less fun and much, much more burdensome. I was going to go to Thailand with the wifey. We went 3 years ago. We had a pretty good time, other than being hit by a typhoon, but that's another story. However, I thought, you know what, me and her need to just go to Bangkok and hang out there. We won't take any side trips. We'll just kind of get out of Dodge for a while, take a vacation from our vacation. And I played the scene out in my head of just simply navigating the airport from here in Dumaguete to get to Manila, spend the night in Manila because of the way the flights are scheduled, get back to the airport via cab, unload, reload, unpack, repack, get on the plane, finally get there, take a cab to the hotel. By the time that's all said and done, I'm going to need an entire day of my so-called vacation just to hang out in the hotel room or down in the lobby or at a coffee shop and not really do much of anything, and then kick in the next day. Now that's cool if I'm going to be there for a month, but her and I just wanted to go for 4 or 5 days. And by the time I figured in travel, recuperation, a couple of days to hang out's not really enough, and then we got to think about getting back on the plane, coming back and doing the same dog and pony show all over again. It's just ain't worth the squeeze, man. We can't go for extended periods of time because we have dogs. If we didn't have them, maybe we could look at 3 weeks. But since we have these little pups, and we don't have anybody else can handle watching them more than 2 days in a row, we're kind of limited. But back to your physical health, my physical health is I am also finding my patience getting shorter and shorter with incompetence, just things in general. And a lot of it has to do because you don't feel good. You might have a pain in your neck. Man, I had a blown disc back in the day, and it was just grueling. I had 2 blown discs, and I lived with that pain for 2 years, and it was really not even a life. All I could focus on was the pain. Everything else, I was trying to get comfortable. I couldn't find a place to lay. No angle was good. Finally, thank God, I had a surgeon that knew what he was doing. He went in, boom, problem solved. But it absolutely, positively dominated my life. If you're in that kind of position, I would be looking for places that you can avail yourself of the proper medical care for your physical health, or just not go at all. The economic part of it, I don't know what to tell you, but it may end up being a bigger disaster than victory. Mentally, we are much more, I won't say we, I'll say I have become much more vulnerable as I age. I trust people a lot more. My wife points this out to me all the time. She says, you trust people way too fast. And I used to have a pretty good BS detector inside of me. And that seems to have up and gone. I meet people, I think everybody's nice. I think everybody's friendly, if they are, halfway. And I just put a lot of trust in them. And my wife, who's 30 years younger than me, her BS detector's on overload. And she'll say, Paul, didn't you see that coming? I mean, you got scammed out of some money from this guy that probably wouldn't have happened to you 10 years ago. She's absolutely right. So it points out the vulnerabilities that we're at to get scammed, to get taken advantage of. People will see someone elderly like myself and think of them as easy prey, like you're out there on the Serengeti. Okay, and these guys are like the lions coming to feast on you. So I don't say don't travel, I don't say don't go, but I say be very cognizant of this and be aware of your vulnerabilities. 90% of problem solving comes from being aware of the fact that you might have a problem. I am highly aware of the fact that my balance is not what it used to be. My memory is not what it used to be. My vocabulary has diminished. I could go on and on. And then let's get into one other topic that nobody likes to talk about, but I think needs to be discussed. If a guy is coming over, say, to the Philippines or to Southeast Asia and wants to not only get a little more economic stability, but is also, heaven forbid, looking for romance, that's a whole new kettle of fish. Again, remember, you are vulnerable. If you are in your 60s and you've been alone a lot, I have found that to be the biggest problem for guys coming over here that are interested in perhaps rekindling their love life. Nothing wrong with that. And most of the women over here, at least, I can't speak for other countries, are good, decent human beings that would make great mates. However, men have a tendency to be impulsive, and they're lonely, and they haven't had physical touch or affection for maybe many, many, many years. They may be widowed or divorced and lived alone for many years, and they're craving that kind of attention and affection. Well, you're vulnerable is where I'll leave it at. Be aware of that. Slow down. Take your time. Be cognizant of your physical limitations. I drive a car and I drive a motorbike. I have noticed over the years that I used to race around on my scooter, no helmet, no shoes, buzzing in and out, going here and there. And fortunately, I've never had any kind of collision on either type of vehicle. These days, I wear long pants, I wear shoes, I wear a helmet. I make sure that I'm encased because I've seen and witnessed too many horror stories, and I've grown a little bit wiser, but I'm also very, very cognizant that my reaction time is not what it used to be. I have come this close to death, I don't know how many times, and not always my fault, but when someone cuts in front of you, it might be that 1 second that I'm late on hitting the brake that could end up in catastrophe. We were turning left in the car is even worse. The bike, at least I feel agile. I feel good enough that I can still confidently drive it. But there will come a day where I'm going to have to hang up 2 wheels. I have a little vehicle over here, a little 4-wheel Wego, and I like driving that less than the bike. It's more frustrating. It's almost more dangerous. Narrow streets and kids and dogs and chickens and people running in front of you. I drive extremely slow because I don't have the reaction time left like I used to even 10 years ago to come to that quick stop or make the right turn or duck out of the way. Those things I'm cognizant of. I don't want to hurt anybody else, and of course I don't want to be damaged either. So there are some interesting statistics out there about the people that are leaving, the people that are coming out here, and some of the other opportunities and options that are now starting to make those lists that you see of best places to retire. 4 of them that popped up that I looked at, I'll throw them out there to you. A couple of them are, I don't know, for me, but one's that is the most, that resonates with me the most is France. I thought, France? I had no idea France was affordable. I always associated France with being really expensive. But apparently it's become, one of the top countries to retire to. But they admit in these articles that the language, can be a real blocker. The next one is Spain. Same thing. I've been to Spain. Beautiful country. However, I found it difficult to navigate on a day-to-day basis because of the language. And I don't speak Spanish, but I imagine for a lot of you that wouldn't be an issue. So if you were bilingual, you spoke Spanish, Spain might be an awesome place to go. Great infrastructure, beautiful country, good hospitals, all that kind of stuff. And then there's Malaysia. And Malaysia, I have not been to. I've always wanted to go. I don't think I will go because I just don't think, like I said, the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't really need to go see it. I'm pretty content here in spite of everything I've been saying. And but I hear it's very diverse. I have friends that have been there numerous times. They have a great variety of food, good infrastructure. Again, many ethnicities there that keep it interesting. And of course, good medical and health care. And then the last one is good old Panama. Good old Panama, boy, that's been on the radar for 20, 30 years of people going over there to retire. They find it economically viable, and it's also, again, medical services are readily available. And if you need to bug back to the States because you've got your Medicare and you want to take advantage of that if something chronic or critical pops up, you can do that also. Okay, so that's kind of my little spiel here. We're getting older, and I'm getting older. I'll just leave it to me. I'm getting older. I was never the sharpest stick in the box to begin with, and I'm certainly not getting any sharper. I'm getting duller. And I'm aware of it. I'm cognizant of it. And so I'm slowing down. I realize I'm going to have to put away some of the toys. And I'm at a point where now I'm just interested in remaining comfortable. I want my air conditioning. I want some food. I enjoy the company of my wife, and just staying home these days is fine with me. I think my adventure days are pretty much gone. I like being involved with the community and keeping myself busy. That's very important. But beyond that, I think that I'm learning and resonating with and accepting my limitations. And I know that they're only going to get worse as time goes on. Maybe not worse, worse may not be the right word, that they're just going to be amplified. And as long as I'm aware of it, then I won't be surprised by it. One last thing for those coming over and looking for love and affection and all that kind of stuff. You might want to get a checkup and really be honest with yourself about your libido. That's something that no man wants to talk about, and if they're having a problem with it, will most likely lie to you. Because they, oh, I'm like bull. I'm strong like bull. I had, luckily, fortunately, I should say, conversation with a guy yesterday or the day before, and he said, man, Paul, he says, you know what, I'm 10 years younger than you, and I was in Pattaya, Thailand, which is kind of the go-go bar capital of Thailand, or the world maybe. And he said it was like water everywhere and not a drop to drink, because my little guy, he just ain't reacting anymore. And it's a real sad and hard pill for some guys, all guys I imagine, to swallow. I know that my day is coming. And if it wasn't for the little blue pill, I wouldn't have anything going on right now with little baby May. But I've told her that that day is on the horizon. And so far, she's cool with it. At least she says she is. If she's not, that'll definitely make some good videos in the future. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video.